Good morning and welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us this morning. If you're watching us live, thank you for that. Of course, Facebook keeps these videos on our Facebook page, so you can go back and watch them whenever you'd like. Also, if you are listening or watching us later, we do appreciate that as well. We do upload these shows to www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. They are free there. We have audio and video versions. Also want to remind folks, we do have a coronavirus page on our website that is free. Of course, it's /coronavirus after our web page. I-12 is flowing today, but as we've discussed over the past couple of days, people are starting to go back to work. So there is some traffic on I-12, but it is moving as of right now anyway. Minor delays at 4-H Club Road, River Road, and 190. Minor delays at 64 heading into Central right there at Magnolia Beach. Jubin and 190 experiencing some relatively heavy delays. Also heavy delays on the on-ramps getting onto I-12. It's currently 70 degrees, 90 degrees going to be your high today. It's going to be a hot one, so please be prepared for that. A little cloudy this morning. Those clouds are going to move out around noon. It's going to be a sunny day. Again, very hot. And you're looking, at 71 degrees as your overnight low. So it looks like we're moving into more of that summer type weather where it's going to be pretty warm in the evenings. Before we get into the coronavirus information today, please want to let everybody know that yesterday, early morning hours, actually right before we did the show, Fire Protection District 2 performed a water rescue on the Tickfaw River. According to the FPD2, a Good Samaritan called 911 after they had passed by a boat wreck. The Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries and the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office also responded to the call, but FPD2 was first on the scene with 2 of their boats. They wanted to thank the general public because without their donations, those boats would not have been possible. Both the driver and the passenger were transported to the nearest dock where they were put on a Acadian ambulance and sent off for medical care. So again, Fire Protection District 2 wants to thank those people who have donated to their firehouse and thankful for those boats. Getting into the coronavirus today, 35,316 cases, 26,249 recoveries on 286,000 tests. 931 people are hospitalized on 110 ventilators with 2,485 deaths. In Livingston Parish, 358 cases, 26 deaths on 4,700 tests. Now, this is the first time since March that Louisiana has been under 1,000 hospitalized, so that was a big milestone. Of course, that was nearly 7 weeks ago now, since Louisiana has really seen this spike in hospitalizations, starting to really get chunks of them disappearing day over day, and not necessarily disappearing, but these people are being released, which is a great feeling, I'm sure, for them and their family. So be thankful for that. And of course, as mentioned, we're down to 931 hospitalizations, which brings us under 1,000 again for the first time since March. Kind of getting into your news today, it's a lot of federal sort of coronavirus stuff going on. Yesterday, Congressman Garrett Graves, alongside President Donald Trump, announced $190 million for expanded testing in Louisiana. This is supposed to help ramp that testing up to 200,000 tests a month. Also supposed to help with some of the serology testing, which is the immune body, looking for those immune bodies and trying to, in hopes of developing a vaccine for this virus. There's a lot of reports out there that continue to come day over day that more people are getting closer and closer and closer to a vaccine worth testing. Serology testing, which is looking for those antibodies, helps with that process. So again, $190 million coming from the federal government to help expand even further testing in Louisiana, which as of right now, it fluctuates between 3rd and 4th per capita in terms of testing. So we are testing a lot of people and trying to get up to that 200,000 mark month over month. Yesterday, there was a lot going on in the Senate yesterday. Senator Bill Cassidy, first and foremost, got up in front of the Senate and testified as he introduced his SMART Acts bill. We've talked about this before. It's a $500 billion bill that would go directly towards governments who have lost funding who have spent quite a bit on coronavirus response. The initial outlay wasn't enough, according to the Senate. especially according to Senator Bill Cassidy. So they are trying to move this in the right direction. Of course, this comes after Senator John Kennedy has introduced his own bill to try to give government, especially local government, more flexibility in spending that initial stimulus package money that came to these states and small governments via the states. So the way that works, since I had such trouble getting it out, is that this federal government, as part of the first stimulus package, sent $1.8 billion to Louisiana. From there, the state has said that it's going to keep 55% of the money, and 45% is going to go to local governments. That would be anything from, Parish of Livingston to Gravity Drainage District 1. And these would be people who have lost revenue, for the $1.8 billion as of right now. This is for coronavirus fighting only. If you do not use it for that purpose, you have to send the money back. Kennedy's bill would allow for these local governments to apply for funds to shore up lost revenue because of the coronavirus, dip in sales taxes, that sort of thing. So that's something that they're trying to push through sort of together in tandem. And we'll see where that goes. But again, the SMART Act is $500 billion for all levels of government underneath federal that may have seen a relatively large drop in revenue. Of course, the Louisiana budget is looking at anywhere from $700 million to almost $2 billion in a deficit, depending on who you talk to. So they're going to be looking for funds to try to, especially from the federal government, to try to shore up that gap in spending. John Kennedy also, another one of his bills that would push deceitful Chinese companies off of the United States stock exchanges, passed the Senate. It will go over to the House. Now, the way this works is if a company is registered and has their corporate ledger in China, they are not subject to SEC rulings. So one of the things John Kennedy wanted to say is, well, if you don't want to subject yourself to the Security Exchange Commission, which is what the SEC stands for, and follow our rules, then we're just going to kick you out of the exchange. So again, that passed the Senate. That will head over to Congress. Well, it is heading over to Congress now. We'll see when and how they vote on it later. There was an interesting report from the Heritage Foundation yesterday that said over half of counties, here we have parishes, same thing, over half of the counties / parishes have no COVID-19 cases. In fact, 48% of the cases and 55% of the deaths are found within 30 counties. Orleans Parish is considered in that list. 1% of all counties total in the country, at 15% of the population. So what the Heritage Foundation is trying to say, or did say, this is one of their conclusions, is that this is relatively tight to the urban areas in terms of the most cases. Of course, there are 8 parishes out of the 64 in Louisiana that do not have coronavirus cases at the moment. So what the Heritage Foundation is saying is that we need regional openings, and that a lot of the economy should be able to reopen, or at least not necessarily a lot of economy, but more industries in more rural areas should be allowed to open, because most of these large-scale case counts are coming from large urban areas. So that was the suggestion they made. Of course, where that goes, nobody knows. But those statistics were interesting. Again, 48% of cases and 55% of deaths are found within 30 counties, which is 1% of all counties / parishes and 15% of the population. Of course, the population of the United States is roughly 370 million. Don't forget to fill out your census. Getting into some of the school news, it was kind of an interesting spike yesterday. We've been so focused on the coronavirus. We are on Monday going to start moving back into some of the older news that happened while the coronavirus was going on. But this was a big one. Dr. Cade Brumley was selected by the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education as Louisiana's next superintendent. Brumley is currently will no longer be the superintendent of the Jefferson Parish school system, which is one of the largest in the state, 51,000 kids. Now he will go up to 720,000 total kids. Mr. Brumley is more of a traditional educational person. He does have some backing All three of the delegates on the BESE board, which is the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, that were nominated by the governor did support Mr. Brumley, as well as he won on an 8-3 vote. So there was some dissent. However, you need 8 votes from the BESE board to confirm a new superintendent. So they got it. They will now negotiate a contract with him, and he will get started. Sticking with schools, the Livingston Parish Public School System announced their overall Students of the Year from 5th, 8th, and 12th grade. Bryce Phelps from Maurepas, who is a senior, was the high school Student of the Year. Reese Kennedy, a Denham Junior 8th grader, was the junior high Student of the Year. And Evelyn Artieta from Levi Milton, 5th grade, was that level Student of the Year. So congratulations to those 3. They were announced yesterday. Coming today, you will get the Teachers and Principals of the Year as we roll that out. Yesterday, we just had a lot of content come out, especially late in the day. So we wanted to hold those to give them the appropriate attention today. Getting back into your coronavirus. Oh, I never went over our mitigation. Let's talk about that real quick. Mitigation efforts. Remember to wash your hands for 20 seconds or more with soap and water. Disinfect common surfaces at home and at the office. Wear a mask in public if at all possible. Control your cough and your sneezing with your elbow or a tissue. Don't touch your face. 6 feet or more of social distancing when in public. 10 or less to a gathering, preferably less. Stay home if you're sick. And utilize telehealth to get in touch with your doctor. And stay home to work if at all possible. Getting back into these coronavirus statistics, 35,316 cases, 26,249 recoveries on 286,000 tests. 931 have been hospitalized. This is the first time since March that we've dipped under 1,000 hospitalizations. Those 931 folks are on 110 ventilators, 2,485 statewide deaths. In Livingston Parish, 358 cases, 26 deaths on 4,700 tests. Getting back into your traffic for today, I-12 is flowing. It does have some minor traffic, but it is moving. Minor delays on 4H Club Road, River Road, and 190. Heavy delays on the on-ramps getting onto I-12. Heavy delays at Jubin and 190. Also some minor delays on 64 heading into Central. It's currently 70 degrees. 90 degrees going to be your high today, so it is going to get hot. You're looking at some clouds this morning, but it is going to move into sunshine. Overnight low of 71, so definitely starting to get into that summer type weather. One last time, my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us for the Livingston Parish News Morning Show here on Thursday morning. Please remember we're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print on Thursdays. You can get that for $7 a month. We are also online. We've mentioned that we have a podcast page and a coronavirus page, which are free. You can get a lot of this legislative information that isn't necessarily related to the coronavirus on our breaking news page. That is also free. Hope you guys have a great day. Please try to stay cool today. Unlike yesterday, trying to stay dry. Today we're trying to stay cool. And we will catch you Friday morning for the last show of this week.